That's the first time we see that tattoo. Interesting. Man. Oh, you really do feel his pain. I'm sure most of us has been in that position before where just moving your body just hurts.
Sir, if you'd like to smoke, you need to be another 20 feet from the door.
Roll me further, bitch.
Yeah, that type of attitude, and then of course he's not gonna help him. Oh wow, what are the odds, right? He's gonna see Hank.
Too large for IV.
Yeah, how do you feel, Jesse? This is interesting. Because he kinda wanted this. And now he's actually seeing it. And he's gonna get picked up by Walter, right? I'm assuming, so I wonder how that conversation is gonna go. Or getting picked up by Skinny Pete and Badger.
How you feeling? You okay?
Actually, I'm great.
He feels happy about it. Alright. He got what he wanted, and he feels happy about it. What will be interesting is the conversation between Walter and Gus about all of this, right?
I thought we were kind of simpatico.
Simpatico, that is a word that I have never heard.
I don't think either of us would necessarily benefit from a prolonged...
Elaborate, Walter, elaborate.
I set up the entire lab. You said you liked the configuration.
And I do. It's as if I'm classical, but you are more jazz. It's simply that I require
Classical.
I hate this feeling that I have right now.
Oh, shit.
When Walter was just explaining that. And now Gail is gonna be like, this is the person that you're replacing me with?
What's up, partner?
Oh, it stings.
It's all like shiny up in here.
I'm kind of glad that Jesse is like up to this, like, yeah, man, but
This makes no sense.
it makes no sense at all, I agree. For the average person, it does not make sense. For us, the audience, we can kind of make sense of it. Oh, the way he handshake that, oh, no, 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 no.
Your brother-in-law.
Here we go.
What about him?
Here we go.
Sir, can I help you?
Yeah, it's alright. He's family.
Go me.
I'm so sorry, honey.
And we just had this conversation in the previous episode of like, he's, you know, on whether or not he thinks that he's still family. Oh,
I'm very sorry. Thank you.
wow. Heisenberg is right there.
They had knacks. The cartels tend to be dramatic.
They were about to cut him off like Tortuga, right?
You're supposed to protect your agents instead of taking their guns, not supporting them, not backing them up.
Sorry,
Go. You're not welcome here. The DEA is not welcome here.
I can't really pick a side here because like they all have their reasons, right?
Do you ever think about everything that you have put him through?
Marie, stop.
Interesting questions here.
It's not his fault.
Layers upon layers upon layers. Donating blood for him, wow. The aftermath of Hank's situation so far has been surpassing my expectations. Like, I think they've done an incredible job at like showcasing all of the different parties and their emotions and how they feel about it. Especially from Marie, because it's not entirely one-sided, because we know of their histories.
Hey, tell your douchebag brother-in-law to head towards the light.
Do you know who that was?
She does not care. She knows exactly what is going on. She does not need Walter's explanation. Wow.
Silverware's obviously not been cleaned. It's covered in germs from someone else's mouth. God knows what.
These are very human emotions, by the way. Like, you would think of many different things trying to cope around, and yeah. I know because I've been there.
I survived. I had my lobectomy at this hospital. Remember that? Lying there, waiting for them to anesthetize you, knowing that you may never wake up again. Anyway, there we are. We're driving up Central, and we hit every green light. I mean, every single light that we hit, green.
Trying to find a positive in everything.
I never wanted to be stuck in traffic so bad in my life. At least I was with my family.
There's something that I want to talk about in this scene, but I'll save it later for the discussion. But what is important is that Marie and everybody just feel a little bit better, right?
We lay low, and then we get the real story from my man who survived.
Your man is in custody.
We gotta deal with that situation.
Want to see?
Everybody's like going in, like, yeah, sure. That is like a lot of people.
You comfortable, you piece of shit?
Oh, lost his legs. He's gonna see Walt. He's gonna see Walt. Holy shit. Yo. If he could say any word, Heisenberg, that would have been over for Walter. Damn! That is terrifying. This is the opposite of terrifying. He's such a child. Hey, yo. What's he doing, man? What is he doing? Oh my god, this child.
Finally, about damn time.
Why isn't there anything cooking?
Walter White, the nearest courtesy phone. Operator.
Near everybody? Is this really a good idea?
Gus came by? Not him, man. Apparently I'm not worthy of meeting him.
It's good that Walter immediately jumps to Gus as his first conclusion. Like, he knows very well, like, who he should be worried about.
His cousins. Right, Jesse? It was his cousins.
Mm-hmm. Turns off his phone. He knows. I love the cars just swooshing through. Leaving these two to their own devices. Should be an interesting convo.
Candy bars. Is this what you were asking for?
Yeah. Uncle Hank gave it to me.
What's it about?
Pablo Escobar, this big drug guy in the 80s.
Uh-huh.
It's more about the guys who investigated him and tried to bring him down. Everybody knows who Pablo Escobar is, but nobody knows about the guys that brought him down.
Interesting. I know of Pablo Escobar, but trying to tie that with the story of Breaking Bad.
Good guys never get inked like the bad guys do.
We know about the villain, but we don't know about the heroes in this case.
No, I assure you, we are hard at work. Absolutely.
Gus.
To be completely honest with you,
Tell him.
really screwed us up. And I've had to be out running errands.
Gus's expression or lack thereof is terrifying.
We will do whatever it takes. It has my total attention.
Oh, he's like, are you done with the bullshit, Walt?
We will have 400 pounds for you by next week.
That is a mighty promise.
You have my word on that.
Better keep that word. Oh, that's cool. That was cool with the sound effect as well. I love that.
Buddy, nobody's getting to Hank. It was their one shot and they blew it.
We don't know. We don't know.
Food's here.
Hey, you like pollos hermanos? Orders a big booster for the DEA. You heard what happened? He's gonna feed every cop in the building.
Really?
Apparently, he's bringing it by personally.
Gus is here?
Guys, did you hear that? Mr. Fring is offering a $10,000 reward on any information.
Jesus Christ, he is sitting right there next to everyone.
Men like your husband are the thin blue line between us and these animals.
Oh.
I hope that there's been good news.
Things have improved, yes.
This is so... Oh.
I've taken up enough of your time.
Dude, Gus brings a level of tension that I have not felt in a long time. Like him coming here, seeing Walt is just full-on confirmation that, yeah, Walter is not really doing anything in the lab. You know what I mean? And Walter knows this.
You know, I didn't say thank you.
Yeah, go out. Talk with him.
Is this some sort of message? This attack on my brother-in-law, I don't understand it. I don't know what it means.
I am told the assassin that survived is gravely injured. It's doubtful he'll live.
Really now?
Thank you. Thank you again.
You're quite welcome, Mr. White.
Again, just putting into perspective how much power Gus has compared. No. Holy shit, Gus, you absolute madman.
Time of death, 2043.
Burn in hell, you piece of shit.
Oh. What a play. What a play. This music.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Gus is also making enemies.
I'll weather this, I always do. My brother's a police chief. I got connections. And the others find out what you've done.
Okay.
Maybe we come pay you a visit. Maybe we come.
Bro? Hello? Nah, bro, Gus is in. Oh. That is a top tier villain right there that I'm looking at. Damn.
I think he's stable enough now for me to go see him brief.
Okay, good.
I'm afraid it's immediate family only.
We're all family.
I understand, but we have a certain protocol here that we need to.
We're all family.
What a fantastic episode, man. Like, it really is. From the direction as well, but most importantly, like, the development and the, I would say, characterization of some of these characters that we've been grown to love. Like, it's really on full display here, right? From Walter to Gus, even Jesse and his childish side, like, that's all fun and all, but man, let's talk about the family aspect of this episode first, because that is obviously like the main point of the episode, right? The strong familial bond between all of our characters, despite their differences with each other for the past couple of episodes. In fact, right? There's been multiple times that this family has been distancing themselves with one another, right? From in the beginning, Marie and Skylar was kind of distancing themselves because of Marie and her habits. And then of course, Skylar and Walter, like, I don't really need to explain further than that. And even Walter Jr. with his parents, right? There's this up and down between who he is closest with, whether it is his mom or his dad, or even his uncle with Hank. And I love that they all come together at the very end, right? In support of Hank, in support of a family member who is in need of love and care and support. All of their emotions are raw and very human and very understandable. Like, even in the beginning of this episode, when Marie just lashes it all out to the DEA agents because, they took Hank's gun, and because of that, Hank wasn't able to defend himself. Like, she was full on blaming them. And you can't really fault her in this regard, right? And I can't really fault the DEA as well, because this is also Hank's responsibility, right? This is the consequences of Hank's actions. Hank is I don't want to say hero, but what he is doing is the right thing, right? In his investigation. And you can debate on whether or not what he is doing, his actions are right, but his desires, as one-sided as it is seeking to a truth that needs to be uncovered. Because Walter White, Heisenberg, is not a person that should be left unscathed. And Hank is there to take him down, and I support him. I support that. Like, look, Walter, great character, incredible writing on him as well, but just because he is the protagonist, let us not ignore the fact that he is, in many ways, a terrible person as well. And that's like one of the major themes of this entire show, is how much Walter is not really getting the consequences that he deserved. A lot of the other characters are getting those consequences, right? From Jesse and now Hank. And yet Walter, despite all of this, despite being a person who had to suffer through cancer, he is still, for the most part, healthy, quote unquote, right? He's not really the one getting major bruises or getting shot, or nope. He's just living freely. Like, he gets away with all of it. And meanwhile, all of these other characters are not. They are the ones who are receiving the consequences that Walter should have. Walter is getting the consequences from a mental state, right? Psychologically speaking, Walter is seeing all of this happen, right? And yet there is this line of dialogue from Marie in this episode where she asks Walter, like, do you even care? Like, all of this mess that is happening, like, do you even care, Walter? Like, do you even have an inch of care to all of this? And I find that question to be interesting because, on one hand, you can say, yes, of course he does. He's doing all of the bad things because he cares for his family, right? And the result of his bad actions is for a good thing. And yet, at the same time, you can also look into that statement, that question that Marie gave, and you can also say, does Walter really care? Because there has been multiple moments in this show. The biggest example that I can give is when Skylar is about to give birth. That is a pivotal moment. And yet, during that exact moment, Walter chose to go meet Gus instead of being there for the birth of his child. Like, think about that. Like, Walter is given the two options, right? Obviously, one is family and the other one is work, and then he chose work. And you can make the debate, the argument that he chose work because that is also choosing family, but really though, is it? And I find it to be fascinating and interesting in how many discussion can be said in regards to Walter's character, because it's not just that he doesn't care or he does care. No, it's like somewhere in between and I cannot fully describe it. It's hard to do so. And in this episode, we're getting that family side of him. That family side that has been missing for these past couple of episodes because he's been busy with work. It's always work. Go to the lab, make some meth. Go to the lab, make some meth. And he's always been thinking about that, and he hasn't really been thinking much about his family. We're getting that in this episode, and I really appreciate that. Which leads me to the conversation when they were having lunch. Marie was having a lot of trouble because her mind is everywhere, right? Even looking at like some of the stains that the fork has, and she goes on a bit of a rant because of it, which, look, I've been there. I've been there. When your mind is all over the place and you are really stressed out, you will look at the most minute of things and you will find something to complain about it. Like, that just happens. And then Walter comes in. He tells a story about how he was able to get through the darkness, basically, and see the positive of things. And everybody got a lot more positive afterwards. Like, everybody was like, oh yeah, right. There's still hope. Let us cling to that. On one hand, that is really sweet. Walter is providing them with some much needed levity. But at the same time, and this is the thing that I was trying to say, but I wanted to save that for later in this discussion, and is that Walter is just essentially gloating and boasting about himself. Like, on one hand, yes, the reason, or I would say, the result of him talking about all of that is to make all of the other people there, Skylar, Marie, Walter Jr., to make them all feel a lot better. But at the same time, it's like Walter is like, yeah, remember that time when it's always about him, essentially, right? And it's hard for me to discredit that because of the positive impact that conversation had for all of the other three. But I also cannot shake the fact that Walter is just essentially, being narcissistic and just talking about himself, like, hey, like, all of this good stuff happened to me, so I don't know, it's fascinating. It is fascinating. If this was any other conversation, I would say Walter was definitely just trying to gloat himself, but in this case, it's for a good cause. So it's hard for me to fully hate him in this regard. Because I'm sure what he was trying to do is from a good place, right? But it's just that the example that he was giving is an example of myself, who is very positive right now, and I've been a lot of and there's been a lot of good things. I don't know if is it just me? Is it just me that feels this way during that conversation? Because that's just how I felt. But regardless, that conversation was great, and everybody kind of reconciled, and everybody just kind of continued on with their day, feeling just a bit better, right? And then after that, we got all the stuff with Gus. If you haven't believed how powerful Gus is in this show, this episode is pretty much him on full display. Like, straight up. Oh, he was able to come in, he was able to blend himself well, far better than Walter, I would say. And then he was able to pull all of these strings, and I'm like, man, how much influence does this man have, right? I love that he just killed off the other cousin because he was just there, like through the dialogue alone. Like when he said like, yeah, I'll doubt and he'll be alive, and I'm like, really, Gus? Oh, I shouldn't have doubted you. And then when he was in the conversation with the phone, and then suddenly all of them are just dead, and I'm like, It really goes to show how much power Gus has over Walter, and how Walter really isn't really in control of most of his life at this point. And it makes Gus all the more terrifying because we know that if we go against him, we are pretty much going against the devil. And that is terrifying. Yeah. It's a really fantastic episode. A lot of these much needed discussion from the family members, from Gus himself. Poor Gale, by the way, I haven't really talked about Gale. Like, he just got replaced in the beginning, and it's like this really, really hard to watch moment when Walter is trying to explain to Gale why he's replacing him, and then you see Jesse coming in, and it's like a completely different person, and you just feel the pain that Gale is currently like going through. Like, ooh, classical and jazz, huh? It's like he doesn't deserve that. He doesn't deserve that. Even Gale said, "This makes no sense. What is going on?" And in one point, I kind of agree. It does not make sense. Gale is a better partner, objectively, for Walter because of his experience, because of his expertise, and because of how much he is basically in line with Walter, right? And he cares for Walter. He cares for his, for this job, and he takes it seriously. But Gale is not somebody that Walter can fully control, is he? No. He needed Jesse. A person that is not on the same level of Walter from his perspective, obviously. He needed somebody who can still be bossed around despite the label of partners. Because Walter White is not somebody who likes to be on the same level as another person. No, he wants to be at the top. And there's also, the fact that Jesse can just straight up go to the police and say everything. Like, Jesse knows about Walter, Jesse knows about his past, and Jesse knows about, like, anything that has to do with Heisenberg. So having Jesse be near Walter is also just saying that Walter has a better control of the leash that he has on him. So there is that. But still, though, my boy Gale doesn't deserve all of this, man. And now Walter told Gus that this is all because of Gale. All of the setbacks that has happened, it's all because of Gale. Gale didn't really, he wasn't really up to the task. He was slowing us down. Now I'm just scared for Gale, because you have a character like Gus, who is ruthless and will have no remorse. And he was just told by one of his top clients, if you will, in Walter, that, yeah, this person isn't really up to the task. We just saw Gus straight up murder a lot of people in this episode. I don't want Gale to die, because he does not deserve it, but at the same time, it's like, oh yeah, this person knows about Heisenberg, and he's now out in the wild, and he knows, I guess he knows about Walter, right? So, loose ends. So that's one thing that I'm worried about, and I feel like that's gonna happen. Gale is gonna die, like, that sucks, man. That sucks. Yeah, great episode. Hope you guys enjoyed my review and my reaction to this episode of Breaking Bad. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you do, hit the like, subscribe if you haven't already, share the video, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. No spoilers, of course. And I will see you all next time. Take care, everybody. Have a nice day. Peace.